As an environmentalist, I think that it's really, really important that I work to constantly keep in mind that while I live, eat, breathe this stuff every single day, environmental science and just the importance of our natural ecosystem, protecting these ecosystem services and everything else, not everybody else does. And so I can't expect someone to have the same perspective that I do about an environmental topic because they might not be as well informed. But I think that we all know that invasive species that are not from around here, that are brought in by other people, brought in as pests, whatever, that habituate themselves, I think we all know that that's a bad thing, right? Like, in general, we don't want invasive species, right? Well, that is what I used to think. I used to think that pretty much everybody knows that invasive species are a bad idea and we should discourage having them and work to remove them when they show up. But that's an idea that everybody kind of holds to be true. I have realized that is not true at all. And you want to know what woke me up to that reality? Central and South Texas. And the reason is because what I have seen playing out in these parts of that state, and it's happening in other states as well, but I spend a lot of time in Texas, so I've seen it there. What is happening in these parts of Texas where these captive cervid operations are going up everywhere, going up like wildfire. People can't get enough of them. Now, if you've managed to go your entire life up until now without knowing what a captive cervid operation is, I'm going to inform you. A cervid, first of all, is just any hoofed mammal in the family Cervidae, which includes deer, moose, and elk. Most male cervids grow antlers that are shed every year. That's like the scientific definition, or basic definition of what a cervid is. There's a wide range of species within that grouping, including a number that, like I said, are not from around these parts, but they get brought into the country. Why? As a game species, to be put on these farms, these high fence captive operations that have thousands of a number of species or many different species in a relatively small area where people get to pay money to come and have the pleasure of shooting an animal. There are a number of reasons why these high fence operations have boomed in popularity in places like Texas, and there are lots of reasons why that is bad news for the ecosystem and the species where these high fence operations are put up. This is something that throughout the course of my academic career now, I've actually spent a decent amount of time researching and working to understand and then writing about throughout the course of my studies what happens when these high fence operations come in, predominantly what it does to the health of the other cervids, the other deer or elk or whatever that are already living in that ecosystem where these high fence operations come up. And the reason why I initially got so interested was because of a devastating illness called chronic wasting disease. And anyone who hunts knows about chronic wasting disease. And fun fact about chronic wasting disease, what you may not know, because I did not know until I started researching this stuff, the first ever recorded case of chronic wasting disease ever in the United States was at a captive cervid facility in Colorado. It was also run by the federal government, by the way. So I guess that's one more thing we can thank Big Daddy government for gifting us. It's a devastating disease. It's well established that these high fence facilities facilitate the spread of diseases and also facilitate the spread of invasive species. Because it's impossible when you have an animal that was designed to run and jump at great lengths, it's impossible that you're going to be able to keep them all contained. Some of them are going to escape. And actually, when you go to places like Central and South Texas, a lot of them have escaped to the point where they are displacing the endemic species that already live there and eating up all of the food for those species and wreaking all kinds of havoc on down the line throughout that food web in that ecosystem. These hunting ranches, for all that they seem to encapsulate everything about the Southwestern American dream, they are not good news in any way, shape, or form. The science and the data all back that up. If you are interested in seeing any of it, I will happily share it with you because I think this is information that more people need to know, especially as these operations continue to get more and more popular, continue to expand, continue to buy up land in places like South and Central Texas, and as people continue to become accustomed to seeing non-native species taking up the spaces where our natives used to live. It's how you run into articles like the one that I just found talking about how to create the perfect antelope habitat in the hill country of central Texas. This antelope is from Pakistan. It's not from the United States, but it ended up here anyway because it was profitable to bring it here as a game species. Here's a brief summary of the biggest issues with invasives here in the United States, but this is not comprehensive, and in all honesty, it's something that is getting worse all of the time. And while there are very productive conversations being had about what we can do about that, I really think that we need to loop these hunting ranches into the conversation as well because of what I am bearing witness to whenever I go back down to Texas, and because of the role that they are playing in normalizing the spread of invasives to the point where people think nothing of writing articles promoting creating habitat for invasive species who do not belong here and are actively degrading the health and quality and vitality of our home where we are living. So if you're interested in talking about this any further, please send me a DM. I would be happy to engage with you and send you resources if you would like them. This is a big deal, and I think that it's something that we really need to get in front of and start talking about sooner rather than later.